Hello, hello everybody. So I am so excited to be doing this video here. I would have never thought I could paint a tiger, so the fact that I ended up doing this last week, or I don't even know how long it's been now, but it feels like it's been last week, is just beyond me. So, but I really found a way to break it down into steps so that it's not so difficult for anybody who wants to try to do this tiger. So I'm gonna do this in 5 different videos, 5 different live streams, and they're all gonna end up going on YouTube as well. So if anybody else you know does not do Facebook but they do YouTube, let them know it's gonna be up there if they want to paint this tiger or they want to see it painted or whatever the deal is. But today we're just gonna stick with the background and keep this as simple as possible. The only 2 colors I'm gonna work with are red and black. Yes, red and black are gonna be the colors that we stick with. So red, black, and a big brush. And this background is whatever you want it to be. What I pictured in my mind when I was doing this tiger was I almost saw like a big red curtain, almost like you see at a theater when you're watching a play, one of those really big, massive kind of curtains that are behind. I thought it would help this tiger stand out pretty boldly, but at the same time not be too bold, I guess, to hang on a wall. So I saw it sitting in front of a really dark velvety curtain, and honestly that helped everything afterward shape up the way that I needed it to. So we're gonna start off that large brush, rinse it out, dry it off if you need, if it's too stiff. Make sure you're washing your brushes out after every paint. There was a video I did, trying to remember which one it was, but I showed how that works. I think it was either the swan or the bee. If anybody else can remember which one that was, I've done quite a few now. But at the very beginning, it might have been the betta fish even. I showed how I wash my brushes. But I guess just to recap, if you want, you can, what I do is I take a brush like this and I'll go into the sink. I'll use really warm water and I'll use a little bit of Dawn dish soap and just scrub it out pretty well. A lot of people don't really like to do it that way, so I don't know if you want to look up a tutorial on cleaning brushes and see what way you like. My way that I do has never left me with any trouble with my brushes. One thing you don't want to do is just leave your brushes in water. That will take this part of the brush and loosen it. It's glued in there pretty much, but it'll loosen that glue and then this part will just come right off. So if you don't want to really struggle with that, never leave your brushes just sitting in water for too long. You can for just like maybe a few minutes, but I wouldn't do it longer than that. Take them out, dry them off, and then clean them, and then I would set them out on a dry towel, just flat. I really wouldn't stand them up because that also, everything on the brush is going to leak through here. So kind of pay attention to how you wash your brushes. Make sure that all of this area is not just staying wet for too long. But I digress. Let's get right into this background here. I also flipped my phone so that the correct side is showing. So basically the crown is on the right hand side. If I would have flipped it the other way around and I'd be able to see the screen, then it would put that crown on the left hand side, and I feel like that would just throw this piece off. So I can't see the screen, but I want to say hi to everybody. Thank you for watching. and we can get right into this. If you have questions, I will see them after, and I will answer. And anything else. And if anybody actually paints this, I say this all the time, but I want to see it. I want to see what you do. I want to see how much fun you're having while you're doing it. And, you know, maybe we can see if there's anything that I could improve by showing how to do this. But let's go ahead and get started here. The way that I like to start this is I'll take one corner of this paintbrush in black, the other corner in red, and it almost looks just like, you know, half and half. Set that to the side, and I really kind of had an up and down motion, kind of diagonal here. So this is where it comes into play however you like to kind of view your background. If you want more black, you can do mainly the black. If you want something in between with the red and the kind of maroon idea, add some red to your brush and throw it on here and keep blending. But don't feel like you have to overblend any spots. Leaving it just like this gives it a lot of texture, or the look of texture. So overblending is just going to bring everything into a gradient, whereas I don't want to go gradient with mine. I really want to do a lot of different kind of maybe ripples, something that looks more like a curtain idea. And what helps me do that is up here it's going to be brighter, whereas say there's a ripple there, underneath it's going to be darker. So that's going to bring out what's over top of something else. But you can make shapes if you want. You know, you can do something like that there. You can make, you know, little almost Joker smiles, I almost call them. This is your background. If you don't want to do red and you want to do blue, you can do blue. You do the exact same thing that I'm doing and just use a different color. It's totally acceptable as well. You can do purple, you could do honestly anything. I wouldn't necessarily do orange unless you do like a really dark orange, like almost brown. But the tiger has a lot of oranges, so then you kind of be clashing and almost battling it the entire time. But it's totally up to you what color you want to go with. I like the red. I feel like red symbolizes for this painting. This painting meant a lot to me in how I was feeling at the time when I was doing it. Every emotion that is conveyed from this tiger was definitely me. So I thought red, you know, red is kind of a symbol of power, courage, something along those lines. And a tiger, you know, a tiger just symbolizes that to me as well. So I wanted that to be kind of the idea that, you know, it looks very nice and soft and like you could pet it, but everybody has those moments where that's not the case. So, you know, think about when you're painting this, if you're gonna do that, what do you want to portray? I had somebody guess and ask me if this had anything to do with the new show on Netflix called Tiger King, and fun trivia fact is yes, it actually does. As soon as I heard the name, I thought, oh, that would be fun to develop something for. But I guess, you know, my whole thinking pattern went to it's somebody who really took advantage of his money and his power, and, you know, he bought some tigers and they ended up not being treated well. But that didn't make them overall weak, it just put them in a tough situation. And so I thought about that in my regard. A lot of my life I felt weak, but this painting was meant to portray the opposite. Not weak, just put in a situation sometimes. You gotta work with the lemons that life gives you. And I add more red paint to my palette here. And so, with this painting too, this is a good, I wouldn't say to go and watch the previous videos for this step here. However, for the next video where we're doing the foundation of the tiger, I would definitely say check out the bat that I did. Check out, let me think of what else. Check out the Minecraft. That might sound silly, but I went through kind of an entire drawing tutorial, and I think that it would help a lot with this as well. Get some shapes, get ready to sketch some shapes out and kind of practice, get some practice in, because it is going to be a lot of foundational, just sketching with a brush that we're doing tomorrow. So definitely the bat. I put up a list on a previous status. I don't think that there's really anybody who can't do this painting. But I would definitely recommend practicing with some of my earlier videos for this one, just to get your hand warmed up. The otter is a really good one. To build some of these muscles in your hand so that you can kind of just lightly graze the canvas. I try to set up every video so that you're taking something different from it. So, I mean, I would recommend all of them, but specifically for this, the bat, the otter, and the Minecraft, I think those would greatly prepare for this. I feel like there was another one where I didn't sketch out the creature first. What was it? The owl. I would say the owl as well. So like I said, this background, I mean, we're not really going to see a lot of it, but it's still nice to just consistently cover everything. I think the only thing I would change from this, from the example there, is a little bit more red back here. So I'm probably going to leave a little bit more red, but if you like to leave less, feel free to do that. I would not recommend adjusting this background after the tiger is down. The foundation of the tiger, just because it might run into some issues that I don't want anybody to overly struggle with. So try to get this down to your liking before you do any foundational tiger work. And today's video is going to be pretty short for this, but this is going to allow this to dry and settle for a day, and then allow you to put on the next step after this one, and that'll be lesson number 2, part 2 of the tiger. Again, I am so excited about this. I'm glad I'm gonna have more than one, because I'm so afraid of somebody asking me to buy this one, and I have a hard time parting with it because it means so much to me. But now I can put one up for sale. Alright, don't forget your edges. If you can, take the same direction. You know that diagonal, it's still going this way. So on the edges, you're going to go the same way. I'm sorry if that's not seeable from over there, but whatever direction you took on your canvas, you want to take on your edges as well. Also, wouldn't really recommend doing this a second time unless you know exactly what you're trying to go for and feel comfortable to do that. I'm not going to go a second time on this here. I'm going to let this do what it does and then go from there tomorrow with the next video. I'm doing the top of my edges now. Alright, so we've got our background. Later on, when this is dry, do the bottom edge and set it on its side so that it does not stick to the easel. The way that I'm setting up this tiger is tomorrow will be the foundation of the tiger. The next day will be the full tiger, so finishing it all up. The next day is going to be the starting of the crown, so like the foundation of the crown, and then the final one will be finishing up the crown. So some of these are optional. I'm going to set it up so that if anybody doesn't want the crown, you'll still have the full tiger. So we're going to go, start to scratch with the whole tiger. Every ear is going to be there, every eye, it's all going to be there. So anybody who doesn't want the crown can stop at that video. But if you want to continue the crown, we're going to take that the next day, and this way it's optional for everybody, and everybody's getting their complete piece, and they're going to see it completed. There's not going to be anyone having to guess, maybe this is right. No, I'm just going to show it all, and we'll have it all done. So stay tuned for tomorrow. Let your piece dry if you did it. And then we'll be back at painting away at this tiger. Thank you so much.